All right, everybody, welcome. This is our second Group Academy. Today, we're going to be talking about habits of successful people and investors. All right, so why I wanted to cover this topic today, I know last week we talked about mindset, habits, right? We talked about that mindset of how do you make that kind of mental switch of somebody that's in the growth mindset that you can go out, you can overcome adversity, you stay focused, you achieve those goals, right? So this is more of a how-to, just some practical things that I've seen people do. I spent a long time in the military. Now people I knew when they were very young are full bird colonels, they're becoming generals. I know some other really successful investors and business people. So this isn't a one size fit all, right? It's different for every single person, but I do think that there are some commonalities that you see across the board of people that I believe are successful. And I'm going to define success, right, as not necessarily someone who has a lot of money or degrees or a ton of friends, right? It is somebody that I think is living up to their fullest potential. They're willing to dare greatly, take some chances to live the life that they want to put in the time, the work, and the effort to go out and achieve whatever their goals are. And they still have a good balance between work and life, right? So that's how I'm going to define success today. I know that we all define it in our own ways. So, I don't want to be too ambiguous, but that's what I'm going to say is success. So here are the daily habits that I've seen. I'm going to kind of run through them all. We'll break it down afterwards and we'll take questions at the end and we'll talk about it. If you guys have things that you think are habits that you have or other people you've seen that are make people successful or you successful, please share them at the end. So sleeping and waking up early, having a morning routine. I touched on this last week. Mindset. They're avid readers and lifelong learners. They make time for their family and their hobbies. So whatever you're passionate about, you are going to take vacations and time to reset and recharge yourself. It's not just work, work, work all the time. We're not machines. You hustle, but whatever you're doing, you're in the moment. You're focused on that thing. You have an attitude of gratitude, right, and respect for others. You know when and how to say no because there's so many things that pull for our attention all the time, all of our time, all of us. You're accountable for your actions and you set goals. You're comfortable with differing opinions and you value time over money, right? So let's get into these. All right, so sleeping and waking up early. Again, I talked about this last week, but sleep is so critical. And I don't know why in our culture we've gotten into this nonsense of we think if you can go on 4 hours of sleep, you're somehow better than everybody else and whatnot, right? Study after study shows that people who sleep and get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, right, function better. They have better memory. It's easier for them to lose weight, keep weight off. They're more alert. It decreases your chances of cancer. Your stress levels go way down. You're way down. You're better able to harness your emotions and your ability, and just a plethora of other things, right? Like sleep is your time for not only your body to rejuvenate, but your mind also, right? So make it important. Um, I have an alarm on my phone that goes off every night at 9 o'clock. And on there, I just have a caption that says, is it worth staying up for? Right. And so it's really true, whether it's I'm watching TV or, sports or doing something stupid, right? Right. I look at that and say, hey, is this more important, whatever I'm doing right now, than tomorrow feeling really good, having a bunch of energy, being in control of myself, my emotions, and whatnot. So I would kind of ask you to do the same thing. Look at that, make sleep a priority. Most people don't, and you should. And then I put the early bird instead of the early bird gets the worm, it gets the zone. So I like to get up super early. I'm a huge believer in it. When I do it, and you go through that morning routine, you give yourself that chance to like have some quiet time to, exercise if that's your thing, to read, to meditate, whatever. We'll go through that in a second, right? It's going to help you put you in the right frame of mind, put you, as I call it, like in the zone for the rest of the day. So then having that morning routine, which to me, that's exercise, right? And I put in there PT is free when I was in the military. That's what we'd call early morning. We call it physical training. I used to always joke with my guys and tell them, hey, it's free, right? And so many people miss out on this. You don't need to have a gym membership. You don't need to go spend a ton of money on things. If you have some warm clothing at this time of year and some sneakers, right? Some running shoes, whatever, you can get off of YouTube, a ton of good workout, hit workouts. You can go in for a run. There's all sorts of parks around that you can drive to and you can work out. So I'm a big believer in, if you're going to work out every day or at least 5 days a week, right? Try to make it part of your morning routine. At least do something to get the blood flowing. 4 or 5 minutes of, whatever, jumping jacks or jump roping or whatever, but just something to at least get your blood flowing. Make some time to meditate or pray, whatever works best for you. It's going to get your mind right. And during that, be grateful for what you have. And then do some words of affirmation. And you'll hear this over and over and over. There's so much negative self talk that we have and we hear in the world, and we've been told by others when we were little. Actually say out loud to yourself things that you want to embody, things that you believe in yourself, whether it's, hey, I am a very successful agent, or I am a great mother, or I'm a good father, or I'm a smart person, or I'm a hard worker, whatever that is. Repeat those things literally out loud. Don't just say them to yourself in your head. Say them out loud. Say them every day. Take 3 or 4 minutes to do it, and focus on those things, and your mind will start to internalize those things. You will start to believe those things, and you'll start to act in those ways. We talked about mindset last week, so I'm not going to go super into this. You can just review the first session. Almost everybody on here heard session one. But the big things that I've seen for people that are successful is failure is never, okay, hey, I should give up, I'm not good enough. It is viewed as a learning opportunity, right? Whether you lost money or time or a relationship or whatever, it's a learning opportunity. It's okay, let me take this. How can we not do this again? What can I take away from this to make myself or my family or my company better the next time we come across a similar situation, right? And so you need to try to switch over to that mindset. Have tenacity, right? I put in there for Thomas Edison. In grade school, he was told he was stupid. He'd never be anything. He wasn't able to learn. It took him 1,000 tries to come up with the light bulb. So thanks there, big Tommy E, for sticking with it, right? And not giving up at 999. And that is a huge thing too, right? People that are successful, they will just keep grinding through. Even when you're failing, if you really want something, you're going to get better at something. You're going to learn. So keep going. They'll challenge assumptions about themselves, about the status quo, about what people have told them, about what they believe, about what society thinks that. So many huge, amazing things have changed in our world because people challenge the assumptions. Hey, no one could ever go into space. No one could fly in the sky. No one could call over the airwaves, right? So look at yourself and what are your limiting beliefs? And maybe if you can't see them, that's really tough. Maybe talk to people you know and love that's in your inner circle and find out what those things are and challenge those things about yourself, what you can be, what you can do, who you are. And then finally, just believe in yourself, right? And that is such a crucial, critical thing that I think a lot of people just miss out on, is just that firm belief that, hey, I'm smart, I'm good, I can do this, I am the person for this job, right? That whole like fake it until you make it thing, there is actual validity to that, right? So if you don't believe in yourself, start telling yourself that you can do it, and eventually you will, and adopt that mindset that, hey, whatever I think I'm in, whatever I think I want to do, I'm enough for that task. Be avid readers and lifelong learners. So the average CEO will read 60 books a year. So that's 5 books a month. I don't come anywhere close to that number, and I should. The smartest people I know, and the people that I respect the most, are reading all the time. They read, they don't watch TV, they're not super into sports, they're not sucked into their phone, they limit their screen time. And when they have free time, they're learning, they're expanding their mind. I mean, think about that, right? A book is typically someone who's very insightful or wise takes all their knowledge and they condense it down into, 100, 200, 300 pages, right? And you can literally glean years or a lifetime worth of work or knowledge out of 8 to 10 hours of reading from that book, right? It's such an incredible way to transfer knowledge to yourself. So I just really encourage you. I have a stack full of books. I'm really myself trying to set aside time every day to read and make that a new focus here this next year going forward, to read a lot more books. And if reading's not your thing, I put Audible, right there it is. So whether you're driving in your commute, you have time at work, whenever it is, right, going for a run, doing housework, whatever, put in the earbuds, Get an Audible book. There's so many great ones out there. If you guys have, want some recommendations, I'm happy, shoot me an email. Let's talk. I'll give you some books you can look into. There's a lot of great sources out there. And then not only just reading, but being that lifelong learner, right? Exploring, having new experiences, going out, trying new things. Not only do you see the world from a different perspective, it will give you new tools, new skills. It doesn't matter whatever it is, even if it's your, learning to, I don't know, whatever, quilt, or I don't know, tuck point, or doesn't matter, right? Each new thing you try in life, you're going to learn something that will have probably some kind of carryover in other aspects of your life. So be curious. Make family time and your hobbies a priority, right? We all have passion. Um, and not a lot of us, our job doesn't typically fulfill, that creative need that most of us have that fills that passion inside of us. So make that time, go to the people who love you and recharge you and that you love to be around. And when you're there, limit that screen time, put your phone on do not disturb. Don't be on social media. Most of that stuff's fake. It's really funny that most of the big tech CEOs and people at Apple and all these people, they barely use their phone, and they typically don't allow their kids to be on their phone, don't allow their kids to even have phones, or if they do, they will maybe let them be on it for like an hour a day, right? But then you see the average American, like I think the average kid has like 5 hours of screen time a day, right? So turn the screens off, get into a book, spend some time together. That's what it's all about. Do your hobbies, the things that you love, set aside time every week for that, for passion and creativity, whether it's, playing an instrument or painting or poetry or whatever. Do something creative and do something too that you love, whether that's a sports thing or whatnot. But make sure you have a chance to use both sides of your brain and express that creative side, because it has to come out some way. And then, I already built it. I already talked about building in that family time. Set time aside every day in your calendar, whether it's for your friends, your family, your dog, whatever. To just spend some quality time with those people that you love and just be focused on them. Vacations and time to reset. You know, it's just such a huge thing that I think we miss out in America on. You see the Europeans do this a lot, and in other countries, right? They'll take, literally, they have like 2 months of vacation every year and they travel. And, there's just not as much of an emphasis on possessions there. And yeah, I'm all about working hard and, getting a house you love and getting the things that you want and that make your life easier. I'm not promoting that, right? I'm not against them, but you need to have time to go sometimes and unplug and recharge and rest for yourself and go see the world. You'll learn so much about yourself and about how we view things just by spending time in other countries, traveling all over. I love the St. Augustine quote, "The world is a book, and those who not travel only read one page." And I just think it's so true, right? You can learn so much by just being out and about and traveling. Then I said, be deliberate in caring for yourself. Refill your cup, whatever that is. Maybe you just need to go sit outside in the morning for 10 minutes. Or maybe at the end of the day, after, bath time and bedtime and all that other stuff, and you're exhausted from work, maybe you need to go for a walk or, drink some tea or whatever. But be deliberate in that you need to, number one, care for yourself. So then you have the emotional energy to care for others and to be in the moment in your business, to be with your kids, whatever you're doing. And then I'm not going to keep hammering on the unplug. I already said that. I guess, I would recommend at least a couple hours a day. Put your phone away. Just focus on whatever you're doing. Hustle, but be in the moment. So to really get ahead, right? You got to do 20 years of work in 10 years. That's the adage that you'll hear. And I am a firm believer in that. I don't think you should just, plug in, do 6 hours of work a day, and then take the whole weekends off. If you want to get to where you want, if you want to get out of your full-time job, if you want to do things, it's going to require you to maybe work that 8-hour job, come home, do a couple hours of work, 2-3 hours of work a night. And then on the weekends, Saturdays to me is not like, hey, if I can take a Saturday off, great. But if there's work to be done, and especially when we started our own business, Saturdays were always work days. Now we're kind of at the point where we don't have to work every Saturday. I try to safeguard our weekends, but we did a lot of work, right? Maybe 80 to 90 hours a week, which I wouldn't recommend for people at first. But, Michelle's kind of laughing in the background. but we did a ton of work up front. And because of that, now we don't have to work as much as we did before. Now we can just do a normal 40-hour a week. But until you get to that place, you got to hustle, right? And come up with systems to streamline things. And you don't want to keep repeating things that waste your time. Anything that if you're going to duplicate more than once, come up for a system for that. So you save the time, have it filled out one time so you can just keep regenerating forms or whatever it is, task or whatever you're doing. There's no secret to success, but it isn't easy. And I just put like fit people. I mean, there's a ton of things in this in life, but I use fit people because, right, we all know how to pretty much be in shape. You have to eat right. You have to eat less calories than you intake. You have to do some kind of exercise every day. It's not hard. It's just not easy, right? Most people, it's tough doing it and staying mentally focused and repeating that process every single day. And it's the same thing here, right? People that hustle, they just know that. They just get up and they're like, okay, I'm going to grind today. And that's what it is. That's all about. Sometimes it's not fun and sometimes you don't want to do it, but you just get up and you do it every single day until you get to your goal, until you get the freedom that you want. I'm putting it here. So, and this is, I know most of you are muted, but it's so true, right? Have you guys ever heard, the question of what's the most important play in a sporting game or the most important shot? Right. And the answer is it's the next one. Right. So that means you got to stay in the moment. It doesn't matter, what else is going on. And I know this is really easy, especially for me. I like to be all over the place. With things that are going on, right? I want to be checking my emails and talking to people and, hey, what's going on with this house and blah, blah, blah. But stay focused in the moment. Whatever you're doing, try to make that your priority and try to give that all of your mental energy and all of your focus for whatever you're doing until you get done with that task and then switch. Gratitude and respect, I think, are so huge. And I put we are the richest 3%. And what most people don't understand, if you take the world's population and you look at the average American, and it's actually even Americans earning $30,000 and more, we are in the top 3% of the richest people in the world. Right. So I know that's in America, that's tough because there's so much wealth and abundance, but that gets lost. A lot of people have never been to a third world country and they've never seen what abject poverty looks like. And to me, that's sad. And so I would try to every day try to take time to be grateful for whatever you have: health, happiness, family, a good job, a roof over your head, running water, clean running water, electricity, things like that, good family, whatever it is. But when you are focused on gratitude, you start to appreciate the things that you have and you stop longing for other things, right? Because things won't bring you fulfillment, they won't bring you joy, right? They're just things. And we want to get to freedom. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with having things, there's nothing wrong with having money. But when it becomes this sole goal of your life and greed takes over, that's when money becomes evil, right? So I think it's really, really important to stay focused on your gratitude and don't just talk about it, but actually do it, right? Go around the dinner table and name something you're grateful every day. Write down every morning 4 or 5 things that you're grateful for, things that happened the day before that you love, and that will help keep you in that mindset of like, hey, I have a lot of great things in my life. This is amazing. I don't want to lose these awesome things I have. I'm going to focus on this. And even as you grow, then that's great. That's fantastic. But you'll still be focused on what's really important in your life. And then finally, just respect, right? And I just can't say this enough. The best bosses I've had, some of the people that I look up to most in life, it doesn't matter how far they've risen or where they've gone or how much they've accumulated or what they've built, they're still super respectful to everyone. They don't see themselves as, hey, I'm better than you because I have more money, or I'm better than you because I've reached this status, right? And so I would just ask people to try to stay humble and try to stay respectful to everyone around you. Accountability and goal setting. I love that. I don't know if any of you have read the book Extreme Ownership. It's phenomenal. I think if you're ever running, if you want to run a business, if you're running a business, I just can't stress this enough. You really need to own it all. And when something goes wrong, it's your fault. Your emotions, your actions, whatever situation you are in, own it. Right. And that's hard for a lot of us, especially when we're in a situation where we don't have a lot of control and it's not fair. COVID's going on right now, and it is frustrating, right, for a lot of people what's happening. But you can either look at that situation as, hey, I'm forced to stay home. I hate this. I'm not allowed to go out, blah, blah. Or you could look at it as, okay, I have an opportunity to be at my house. What things have I been putting off that I can work on right now? Right. So just, it's that mental approach, and then just owning, kind of whatever you have going on. I talked about this last time, running out your goals daily. I can't stress that enough. Not only write them out, post them someplace that you can see them. And finally, for your goals, make them, make them bold. Don't make it something that you can easily accomplish. Small goals are just as hard to, small goals that stretch you a little bit are just as complicated to reach as big goals that are scary. The only difference is big goals make you think in a different manner. For us, if I was like, well, hey, I just wanted to do 5 houses next year to flip, right? That's what we do. We flip houses, right? Okay, well, we could probably figure that out. And we could have one lender and one crew and blah, blah, blah. Well, what if I say I want to do 25 houses? Well, it's basically the same thing, except now I just need a few more people on the team and more crews and more lenders. And so it's just going to force me to look in a different way and do some more upfront legwork or upfront work, but it's going to have much larger, returns or dividends in the end. Be comfortable with differing opinions. Be challenged. Like I said, let your assumptions be challenged. And I don't know why. This is one thing I really appreciated about being at the war college when I was in the military, is that we were challenged in all of the ways that we thought and all the things that we kind of hold true, as Americans, or whatever we had ideologically, or whatever we thought, those were challenged. And that's a good thing. There's very complex issues. Business is very complex. Family is very complex. The dynamics inside of it, right? There's not a black and white, yes or no, this is easy kind of situation. So when you can start looking at things from different angles and saying, okay, that you're partly right and I'm partly right, and started putting those things together, you're going to be much more successful in how you tackle everything in your life. And then I just put in there, right? Like those differing opinions. And I kind of alluded this earlier, right? All these people that invented, the telephone, the radio, internet, cars, planes, all these people were laughed at. They were scoffed at. They were told that they were crazy, right? And now these things have revolutionized our world. So whatever you have in there, whatever ideal you have to be or create or do, it's not crazy. Even if maybe the people around you, they're not used to that. Maybe you're the only one in your family that's ever wanted to be an entrepreneur or ever be an investor, and so your parents don't believe in it or they don't understand. Well, that's okay. That doesn't make it wrong. There's a community of us out there, and we have access to it now on the internet, where you can find like-minded people who are doing the same things and will encourage you. And so be part of that, which I know I'm talking about differing opinions, but I'm saying just challenge them, right? Be with people. It's good to be with people that challenge your opinions. And it's also good to be with people that are with your same mindset and can understand where you're going. And then just learn from those who are different, right? I've already mentioned it. I'm not going to keep going down that rabbit hole. And then finally, I think this might be the most important one. This was the hardest one for me to overcome and change, which is you value your time more than your money. And this is really, really tough. I used to have a scarcity mindset, right? So every dollar counted, nothing I wanted to be wasted. I always wanted to have the best deal. Why would I pay somebody, whatever, $40 to mow my lawn when I can just go do it? And the thing is, you need to understand that your time, an hour of your day, has a dollar amount set to it. You need to internally figure out what that amount is, right? And then you need to figure out whatever task you're doing, right? If somebody can do it faster and better for less, you need to turn those things over, because we can always create and make and earn more money, right? But we cannot make more time. It is finite. Nobody can make more time. We can all make more money. With that, the 80-20 rule applies here. So you should be focusing your time and energy on those tasks and those things that you do that give you the most return in your life, right? Whatever that is. Most people hear this as, 80, like in a big company or some organization, right? 20% of people do 80% of the work. That's how most of us know the 80-20 rule, right? But they also have found that for you individually, whether you're in a job or you're running a business or whatever, right? 20% of what you do gives you 80% of your returns or your greatest value, right? So focus on those, that 20%. You should be harnessing most of your time and energy on that 20%, not on the 80%, which is what a lot of us do, right? Like, and I get caught in this trap all the time. I want to just go answer emails because it's simple and it's easy. Or I want to go do this, because I used to update the budgets or trackers or whatever. And like, I still do that, right? But that's not what I should be doing for where I am at this point in my life and in our business, right? And so I'd encourage is for you to look at whatever you're doing in your life, to focus on those things, those 20% of things that give you the biggest return for whatever it is you're doing. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this. I'm going to open this thing back up to everybody. So if you have questions, let's see. You can go ahead and just unmute yourself and chime in. I'm going to get caught up here on the chat. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing any questions pop up. No one's coming in with any questions. So if we don't have any questions, I'm just going to go ahead and shut this thing down here in a minute. Okay. Awesome. Well,
I just want to say thank you for doing this every week.
You are very welcome, Miss Chelsea. Thank you for tuning in. I'm hoping this has been helpful for you guys that are not part of one of the Krupa Realty agents. The whole point of this is not directed for our agents to make you a better agent. This is a chance for us to kind of come together and talk about investor topics, things that help us, create successful businesses. And so I love, like Chelsea, that you're there working your full-time job and still tuning in and working your side hustle to get to where you want in life. And I absolutely love that. So thanks for coming, Chelsea.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We're going to do this again next Friday. We will email out the topic. I have it. I can't remember it off the top of my hand. And we hope you guys tune in again. We'll post this up to YouTube for review. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. Take care.